mix. Let's bring Nikki Fried in to talk about the Democrats some more, chair of the party, the Democratic Party in the state of Florida. Welcome back to the show. It's good to see you again. I bring up the list of all the VP candidates we have right now, and I want to ask you about who you think is the most sensible selection. Alex did a report on Tim Walz. I said Josh Shapiro's one we talk about a lot, right? And then, you have certainly Buttigieg is one that's come up. I think this is all that's left. I mentioned prediction markets a few minutes ago just because Beshear's the guy surging today. I don't know what to make of this, up and down, and Kelly. So what should she be looking for? And do you have one on that list that you like?
First of all, thanks for having me back. What's really great about this moment is that we've got so many incredibly dynamic Democrats across the entire country that all have their different pros and cons to be placed on the ticket. But I know for Vice President Harris, she's trying to pick somebody who, one, is going to be the last person in the room with her making those ultimate decisions, somebody that she trusts, both on a policy perspective, somebody who maybe has a different perspective, that they can kind of go into conversations and make the right decisions for the American people. The good thing is that any one of those is years ahead of, I saw even some of your clips earlier that J.D. Vance is about to take the stand.
Right, the stage. Yep.
I'm ready for the stage and the stand, because that vice presidential pick is going to annihilate him on the debate stage. So really, we're in good hands no matter who she picks, because we ultimately trust her decision.
Let me throw a piece of breaking news at you that I think is interesting, because a lot of Democrats have been talking about this Project 2025 and saying this is 900-page kind of outline from the Heritage Foundations and saying, oh boy, this is dangerous. Well, all right, the head of that project just stepped down. The guy was in charge of it. And Trump put out a statement basically, again, distancing himself from Project 2025. What does it tell you that the guy at Heritage who was heading up this project is out?
Yeah, I think that what it's done is show that the MAGA extremism is not what the people of this country want. I mean, look, I'm living here in the state of Florida. I was the last statewide elected Democrat here, was 4 years in the cabinet with Ron DeSantis, where we have been those lab rats for the Heritage Foundation the last 6 years, watching what DeSantis has done to this state, going after women's rights, going after LGBTQ plus rights, the decimation of our education system, the consolidation of power under one executive power. So all of those things have been really unfavorable here in the state of Florida, and DeSantis tried taking that on the national stage. And so no surprise that when people woke up and saw what another term of Donald Trump was going to look like, people are rejecting it. But people also need to know this is Donald Trump's Project 2025. All the people that wrote the 900 pages either were part of his previous administration or people that are super close to him. He's talked about it before, before it became a negative for him. So I continue to say, when people tell you who they are and show you who they are, believe them. This is Donald Trump's plan for his second administration, and which is why American people across the country are rejecting this.
All right, so a couple things from Florida to follow up on that. First of all, we have the polling. I don't think Florida's a swing state yet. It used to be. Maybe it is. I don't know. You probably think it is, or would make the argument. But, Harris is down, which we would expect. That's the first thing. There it is. Trump 49, Harris 42. Okay. Second thing, what's on the ballot besides the candidates in Florida? One of the issues is abortion, right? And there it is. The top amendment there has to do with legalizing marijuana, but Amendment 4 provide a constitutional right to abortion before fetal viability. So that gets into it with Project 2025, because Trump has backtracked a bit or tried to moderate his position on that too, on abortion, saying, hey, we got to get elected. He recognizes that position and also Project 2025 was hurting him politically, right? So now does that give Democrats less to go after?
No, there's a couple things. First of all, the fact that just within a week that we've already closed the polls here in the state of Florida and no one knows her yet. I mean, look, we've spent the last 4 years, not really hearing a lot from the vice president. And so now is a time where people are starting to get to know her, to listen to her, to hear her policies. Her favorabilities have skyrocketed in just the last week. So I would continue to see that polling, even here in the state of Florida, really shrink over the next few months before we get into the November election. And when it comes to abortion rights on the ballot, it is there. And the reason why it is so important for not just here in the state of Florida, but Iowa's all-out ban went into effect yesterday. You're seeing either other places across the country where abortion is technically on the ballot.
Right.
And we're here in this moment because of Donald Trump. He stacked the Supreme
Thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.